Greetings and welcome to the Culture Ward, where we dissect and dismember pop culture in all its forms. Before we begin, please take a second to hit that subscribe button and help us grow the channel. It really means a lot to us. And don't forget to like and share the video if you enjoyed the content. Now let's get into it. Okay, so I've never been a big fan of the Jurassic movies. When the series was born with Jurassic Park in 1993, I went to see it at the theater, and I thought it was okay. I mean, the first movie, directed by Steven Spielberg, was based on the novel of the same name by Michael Crichton. It was a pretty smart movie, blending an emerging understanding of genetics with science fiction and intense action and suspense. The premise of Jurassic Park is that a billionaire named John Hammond creates a revolutionary theme park where genetically recreated dinosaurs roam. He invites a paleontologist played by Sam Neill, a paleobotanist played by Laura Dern, and a mathematician and chaos theorist played by Jeff Goldblum to tour the park before its opening. When a disgruntled employee sabotages the park's security systems, the dinosaurs break free, unleashing chaos. A ferocious Tyrannosaurus Rex and cunning velociraptors hunt the group as they struggle to survive and restore power to the island's defenses. Racing against time, they have to outwit the predators and escape the island. The movie raises questions about man's dominion over nature and ethics in science. And again, it was a smart movie. It asks deep questions, but it's also entertaining and fun. And it worked. It made over $1 billion, making it one of the highest grossing movies of all time, certainly in 1993. And people loved the movie. They loved the premise. People love dinosaurs. People love Jeff Goldblum. And even I must admit, it was fun, interesting, and thought-provoking, and deserves its place in the pantheon of iconic blockbuster titles. I get why people like this movie is what I'm trying to say. So Michael Crichton wrote a sequel novel called The Lost World, and Steven Spielberg returned to direct the inevitable film adaptation, which premiered in 1997. It would be the last one that Crichton wrote, and the last film that Spielberg directed, although he continued to produce the films. Leaning more into action than suspense, with less emphasis on science and science fiction, this installment was less compelling, and thus not as well received as its predecessor. Also, while breaking several box office records, it ultimately lost about 40% of the box office of the original, bringing in around $600 million globally compared to the original's billion-dollar haul. In 2001, Jurassic Park 3 released. It would be the final chapter in the original Jurassic Park trilogy. Sam Neill returned as Dr. Alan Grant to help find a missing child on Isla Sorna, which is the island that contained Jurassic Park, or one part of Jurassic Park. A fairly straightforward survival adventure narrative, Grant and his group face increased threats from smarter, faster, and more ferocious dinosaurs. It was criticized for being a much less well-developed plot, with none of the themes, such as ethical dilemmas and corporate greed, that drove the first two installments. It was just a dinosaur action movie, with admittedly great visual effects. And it was still a financial success, earning approximately $368 million on a $93 million budget, but losing nearly half the box office from the previous film and almost two-thirds from the original. While a fourth installment was intended as early as 2004, the project lingered in development hell for a decade. Finally, in 2015, Jurassic World was released. Set 22 years after Jurassic Park, the action returns to Isla Nublar, where a successful dinosaur theme park has operated for years, until a particularly dangerous dinosaur escapes its enclosure and goes on a rampage, causing chaos in the park. Now starring Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, Jurassic World was the beginning of a new Jurassic trilogy, and it was a huge success, raking in over $1.6 billion at the global box office, one of the highest grossing films ever, even today. Again, not as compelling as the original movie, it was praised for its visuals and action. In 2018, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom released as a direct sequel to Jurassic World, with Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Jeff Goldblum all returning to their respective roles. And we return again to Isla Nublar. The main characters are trying to rescue the remaining dinosaurs from a volcanic eruption when they come into conflict with a group of mercenaries with sinister intentions. It was, once again, a big spectacle, the definition of a summer blockbuster movie, though for some the magic was kind of waning, while the visuals and cinematography still received general praise. And despite being the lowest rated Jurassic Park movie to date, holding a 47% on Rotten Tomatoes, it was still a runaway financial success, earning $1.3 billion at the box office. However, while still being quite profitable, the problem of ballooning budgets began to affect the bottom line. This was one of the most expensive movies ever made, with a reported budget of over $430 million, threatening the bottom line. Jurassic World Dominion followed in 2022, reuniting the original Jurassic Park cast alongside the Jurassic World returning cast. Dominion wraps up the storyline that started with the original Jurassic Park 29 years hence. Set 4 years after the previous installment, dinosaurs now coexist with modern civilization around the world. The group of main characters goes on another rescue mission, while also trying to uncover a conspiracy by the genomics corporation's Biosyn. It is the worst rated movie in the franchise, holding a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, with critics once again praising the CGI, but lambasting the absurd story and thinly conceived characters. The critical consensus is that the franchise has truly run its course. Audiences, though, once again disagreed. This film also broke $1 billion. However, it should be noted that this movie was filmed during the height of lockdowns and restrictions due to the virus of unfathomable provenance. And as such, the production budget was estimated to be around $465 million, making it the most expensive movie ever made, at least at the time. If that's true, then this movie may have only barely turned a profit. But $1 billion is $1 billion. And that brings us to today, July 2025, when yet another Jurassic World, this one subtitled Rebirth, releases in theaters. Intended to be a new story with all new characters, the new film stars Scarlett Johansson as a covert operations expert who leads a new group to a forbidden island to extract DNA from some dinosaurs. And they get stranded and attacked by mutated dinosaurs and blah blah blah. New movie, same basic story, fight the dinosaurs but not all of them, or something. I honestly don't know what people see in these movies, but they do continue to dominate the box office. While I've never been a huge fan, other people really have. And I guess I get the idea. Sometimes people just want easy, low investment entertainment. Engaging, albeit forgettable fun. While the original Jurassic Park was a proper science fiction thriller that was thought-provoking and flirted with philosophical questions of scientific ethics and man's dominion over nature, most of the movies in the franchise have been exactly the type of easily digestible big-budget spectacle that average moviegoers crave. Not everyone wants to be challenged in the cinema, choosing instead to turn off their brains for a couple of hours and just be entertained. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not unlike the Fast and Furious film franchise. Say that fast 3 times. Since 2001, 10 movies have been released in that franchise, with pretty much all of them turning a profit, and 2 of them breaking the $1 billion barrier. Another franchise that I couldn't give 2 shits about, the fan base is totally unfazed by my, and professional critics' opinion. The movies are fun, entertaining, easy to digest, and they give their fans exactly what they want: spectacle. Sometimes light and easy is a winning formula. Remember how well the animated Mario Brothers movie did? Or Minecraft? These types of movies confound critics because they don't fit the film snob's definition of a good movie. But good movie is subjective. To some people, a lot of people obviously, good just means enjoyable. So how will the new Jurassic World do? I have no idea. I suspect it'll make money again. I think the real question is how well people are going to take to Scarlett Johansson essentially replacing Chris Pratt. How will the legacy fans react to an entirely new cast of characters? I know ScarJo is popular, though she isn't always praised simply for her acting ability, if you know what I mean. But does she have the gravitas and draw of Chris Pratt or Jeff Goldblum? Can she fill that role of action lead in a blockbuster movie? I guess we'll find out. To me, the real question is how much will this movie make? The first Jurassic World movie made $1.6 billion, the second made $1.3 billion, and the third barely broke $1 billion. So they were already trending down. Will the new cast be able to draw out enough of the fan base to break $1 billion again? The estimated budget on this one is somewhere around $225 million, so if it does hit that milestone, it'll make even more than its predecessor. If it doesn't, what would that mean? People are tired of dinosaur movies? People are tired of the same dinosaur movie made over and over? People aren't interested in a new cast of characters in their dinosaur movie? Again, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I'm interested to see if the 40-year-old version of Scarlett Johansson can draw in the fan base as well as Chris Pratt. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that this movie will make money, but it will underperform its predecessors. And while I once again reiterate that these movies are not my cup of tea, I am glad that they are still being made, and have been, at least up to now. I don't know what the new movie is going to do, sticking to the same formula that fans love. I am grateful that Hollywood does sometimes listen to its fan base, and does sometimes make movies to appease them, even if I'm not part of that particular fan base. It gives me hope that they'll see how successful they could be by giving the audience what it wants, and will then start listening to the fan base I am a part of, and start making movies for me again. It's not a complicated concept, just give people what they want. The customer is always right, or something like that, right? Anyway, Jurassic World Rebirth opens in theaters this week, July 2nd, for a long holiday opening weekend. What do you think? Are you a fan of the Jurassic World franchise? Are you looking forward to Rebirth? Do you think they'll pull off another billion-dollar haul? Let us know in the comments. By the way, happy 4th of July to all my American viewers. I hope you have a safe and fun holiday weekend. Try not to blow off too many fingers. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Bye for now. I hope to see you next time in the Culture Ward.